Hello everyone, Steinyamite here, back today with a brand new build video. Today we are going to be doing a Hailey build guide. This is going to be a guide specifically for bossing, as this is what Hailey is best at. She is a ultimate Lepic in terms of damage, but now as a ice type character as opposed to fire. Previously the only ice type character that we had was Viessa, or ultimate Viessa. So it's really nice to see this change of pace and have a character that can do a large amount of damage, whether in solo or team-based bossing. So I think it's going to be really fun. And without further ado, let's get into this build. Alrighty, let's get right into this build guide today. How is everybody doing? Hopefully you're all good. So again, we are doing a Hailey build guide here. Again, Hailey is one of the newest Descendants being added to the game. She is super fun for bossing, a lot of high horsepower DPS. She can do it very quickly and with a single shot. It's going to be really fun to go over here. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with a couple of the easier things here, like our reactors and components. So the reactor I've chosen obviously is a frozen reactor, as she is an ice type character. Hailey does use singular damage here, as we can see. Her 2 and her 4, which are the important shots here for DPS, both rely on singular. So you're going to want to be using a singular reactor. As far as mounting goes, you can really use whatever you want for weapons, but the higher overall DPS that a weapon has is going to directly tie into how much damage that she does. So picking things, for example, here like Enduring Legacy are going to be super good. I know some snipers like Piercing Light and Afterglow Sword are super good as well. I'm actually working on an Afterglow build currently myself. So yeah, a couple really good options, and we'll go over those. As far as your boosters here, after chill and singular, you're looking for a couple things. At the bottom, I'm currently rocking one that has skill crit hit rate and singular skill power boost. I would say the power boost one is going to be one of your best options that you can get. As far as the other mod on there, crit rate's really good, crit damage is really good, all of those types of things, right? Even skill costs might actually come out really well, just because you can eat into a lot of her MP depending on the build. So next we have our components here. Our components, we are using a full Slayer set this time around. The Slayer set is super nice just because it boosts skill power by 26.1%. This is a component set that is also used in Ultimate Lepic, just for the same exact reason here. The skill power is a massive boost, and we would always want to have things like that, right? In addition to that, we also have the general rounds capacity. This comes in handy with Enduring Legacy, and I will be showing you that a little bit later as to why. But yeah, so on my Slayer set, I'm rocking as best as I could get, right? Max MP, HP, defense, shield, all of those, right? So we have a full Slayer set, and this is going to be super useful for her. Okay, so coming right along here into the Descendant modules, let's take a look here. I'll leave it up here just for a moment for an easy screenshot for anyone wanting the build, as well as the module components that I have set out here as well. If you just want to see everything ahead of time, feel free to hit those screenshots. So without further ado, let's go over a little bit about how Hailey works, right? So because she is a bossing character here and uses 2 singulars, and she just has a lot of DPS, it's not really meant for mobbing or anything else, we're going to be going for the highest amount of damage possible. So starting here, we're going to have things like Focus on Chill. This is just going to boost our chill skill power by 77% and give us a little more cooldown. Cooldown's always nice because if you're in a boss fight where, let's say you're in a team especially, it's very easy to not get that one phase, depending on the boss especially, right? If you're doing Pyromaniac, a little more likely, even if you don't have a full team of Haileys. But at a boss, maybe like Molten Fortress, you can get an easy 2. Getting a 1 phase might not be as consistent, especially because it requires you to have 4 players when you load into it, because you can't do private matchmaking. So having cooldowns can be very useful for that, just so that you can have your uptime for your attack back faster. We have a couple standard mods here, like increased HP. This is just nice. Again, we're going for a max HP of 218, and I will show all of my overall character stats at the end here. Next, we have emergency measures and front lines. So emergency measures is a mod that does skill crit hit rate and crit damage. This one boosts the rate by 64 and the damage by 27. Front lines takes on the reverse of that, as you can see. So it basically just flips them. Front lines is crit damage is 64 and crit rate is 27, right? It's the exact same boosters percentage wise, it just flips them. So it's really good to play both of those together. Next here I have Spear and Shield. This can be swapped with things like Battle of Stamina if you want. I personally like Spear and Shield just because, one, it's a nice defense boost. Always good to have more defense, especially if you are stationary, because Hailey's 4th attack for the sniper and really her 2nd attack require you to be stationary when using those attacks. So having defense to tank any damage you might receive, super useful. The other big part is this one does happen to have the skill power boost of 8.1%, where others might have skill duration or something else. I'd rather take the power boost. So, yeah. Next here we have Dangerous Ambush. This is a favorite of mine, used in many builds, just because, again, it's so good for bossing, especially when landing a skill attack and the enemy's not looking at you, which, you know, if you're solo queuing a boss, a little less useful here. But especially in team-based bossing, this can be really useful because if there's 4 of you, it's a 25% chance that the boss looks at you, meaning there's a 75% chance the boss looks at someone else, and then you just get a skill power boost of just under 25%. And then the second half of this, which is really important, on skill attack against an immobilized enemy, skill power plus 49.8. When it's immobilized, that means for bossing, whenever they drop down, whatever kind of animation that is, whether it's a boss that drops to their knees, kind of falls over, whatever it is, when the boss goes into that immobilized state where it is no longer moving or doing any attacks, you just automatically get almost a 50% skill power boost. That is going to come in massive handy, especially in a boss fight. Next here we have some other ones that I like Shot Focus. This just boosts your firearm attack. Even though your skill power is a little bit down, the firearm attack will tie into her overall damage, so it's really useful to still have that. Next here I have Glacial Sanctitium. This one is just critical hit resist and chill skill power. The crit resist is really nice just because if a boss happens to hit you, again, since you're immobilized, it ties heavily into staying alive along with something like Spear and Shield. You're just trying to not die as you launch attacks, right? Because it's not even like Lepic where you can move around at all. You can't even walk. You are completely stationary with both of Hailey's attacks. So next here we have a MP conversion mod. This mod I'm going to go into because you can use a different one here, which is Strong Mentality. And it really just depends. We've done testing, and honestly, it's really just personal preference. Both of these are going to about play out the same. So MP conversion is nice because you get a massive skill cooldown of 36.5%. You do take a little bit of a hit to your max MP, so it's minus 15% of its total. But since your cooldown's so fast, it brings a lot of these attacks down heavily, right? So your 4th attack goes from 30 seconds to 17. The second one goes from 50 to 28. Again, those are very nice because if you don't one cycle a boss or anything like that, let's say it's a Molten Fortress where you don't one cycle, he goes into his frenzy, you're guaranteed to have those out by the time it ends. Now, even without the skill cooldown, again, these attacks are 30 seconds and 50 seconds respectively. So there's another mod that I've been using back and forth, and I'm still not 100% decided either way. So I would say definitely give both a try. Thankfully, they both use I think it's a Malachite slot. So it's very easy to just exchange these. There's no extra crystals that you have to put into this build for this. Strong Mentality is a skill cost of minus 15.2%. This is super nice, specifically because the 3 attack, which you want to always start off with, the 3 attack will start giving her a stacking bonus. That's a damage bonus that goes up to 16. This bonus will eat into your MP, right? So because of that, you want to have as little skill cost as possible, ensuring that you can leave that on longer. You have to time it less. You can really just launch it at the start of the fight. By the time the boss drops down, you're already maxed out on stacks. And then even after things like launching your 2 and your 4 and all of those, you should still have a lot of MP. In addition to that, it's also nice because your 4th attack hitting shots will give back MP. But if you just don't want to worry at all about MP and you're not too worried about cooldown because you're assuming 1, you either one cycle the boss, or two, it goes into frenzy. By the time it comes out, it's already on cooldown anyway. Strong mentality could be a better fit. So yeah. And then last up here, we have skill concentration. This one is just a skill crit hit damage of another 115%. You know, kind of self-explanatory, but it's just the idea of, since, you know, you're using skills for her, you want to have the biggest damage boost possible. I've seen the second here attack, the Storm Snare, do about 20 million damage on a single shot. On average, I see it hit around 15 million and change. And then the fourth attack, I would say anywhere between 5 and 8 million per sniper shot on average. So yeah. Okay, so I do want to make sure that I show off our stats here. As you know, we were talking about why we have things like spear and shield on and all of that. Our overall stats here, we are sitting at 18,000 defense and 7,800 max HP, as well as 385 max MP. These are all useful just, you know, to see where we're looking, but Hailey can definitely tank some damage with all of that. And then just to show off here as well, I'm going to change to strong mentality instead of MP conversion, just to show off here. We do go from 385 to 454 max MP, and it does drain slower. So if you're really just after having the maximum MP and not really having to think about it, worry about it, any of that, I would say strong mentality may be better. But in all the background gameplay, I did have MP conversion on, and I never felt like there was any issue. So yeah. Coming over here to the laboratory now, I do want to show off a few things specifically for this build that I touched upon earlier in the video, but I really want to make sure is a standout thing, because I actually haven't seen a lot of people talking about it, and we did figure this out yesterday during some testing actually. So with something like Enduring Legacy, right, this is just what I'm using because of my reactor. It's really solid. There is a mod, and it works for other weapons too, but it's Expand Weapon Charge. Expand Weapon Charge gives you rounds per magazine plus 49%, right? So first I'm going to show you, if I take this off, let's do our 4 attack, right? Our square. If I hit this, here's our sniper. We get 4 rounds loaded into the sniper, right? Awesome. Now, here's a key thing. If I put that back on, you're going to see something very interesting that, again, we didn't even realize at first. So if I hit my 4th attack again here, my square, now we have 6 shots. So something that we've learned is the amount of ammo that you actually get in this 4th attack sniper is directly reliant on how much ammo you can have in your magazine. So when you put Expand Weapon Charge on any of those weapons, it's actually going to boost up how many shots you get. And 2 shots, it's not nothing, right? So if we start going here, we'll wait till our stack reaches the max here. As you can see, it goes up pretty quickly, and this was the whole thing about MP. When we hit things, again, right, we see all these crits. We saw one for 12 million there. I saw a 7 in there, a 12 and a 7, right? Having 2 extra shots like that can make a world of difference, right? That's another, what, I mean, possibly, you know, we see 7 mils in there, another 14 million damage plus, you know, on top of the second crit that we get in there. So this is something, again, I just really wanted to touch on. This can work for other weapons too. I'm just using it in Enduring Legacy, but Expand Weapon Charge. Having the higher round per magazine will actually increase the amount of shots that your square attack gets in your sniper. Okay, so still in the laboratory here. Just wanted to show off a couple more things, obviously, for damage testing, right? So again, currently the setup I'm using is just for MP conversion here over strong mentality, but as we discussed, you can really do either one. So the other big thing with Hailey here that I'm going to show off here in the background as well. Hailey has attack boosting directly based on the distance that you are away from the ads, right? So it's very important. First, I'm going to launch my circle here. I always recommend starting with circle. And this is another big thing here, right? I wanted to show this off purposely. The circle, as we found out from testing, actually has a pretty short damage fall off, right? So as you can see, I'm not that far away from these ads, but it still didn't hit. So you need to stand pretty close And it's almost purposeful. It feels like that they did that because the circle you need to be close and the square you need to be far. So I always recommend starting with the circle and then just kind of backing away and getting your sniper out. So again, let's boost up our attack here to maximum. The maximum stack is 16, and that doesn't take too long to hit. Let's go for a hit. As we just saw there, quite a few damage numbers in here. We can throw up the exact numbers on screen for anyone wanting. So the way that a normal boss fight will go is, again, you're going to want to start by hitting your circle attack. And then most bosses are far enough away on like these ads that even with the circle, you can still just take a little bit of a step back and launch your square attack into them, right? As you can see, the damage numbers do change. I see 7 mil and 12 mil in there on the double crits. So this was that whole thing about having 2 extra shots in the sniper can make a world of difference for that. And again, we're not super far away, but I wanted to show here, this shot still does not have that much range. So you want to be within like 20 meter radius or so. It's kind of just a judgment call, and you kind of learn through trial and error, unfortunately. But that shot does do enough damage that it's really important to have that. Just to show off here again, this was the skill I'm talking about. It's just her intrinsic passive skill. Safe strategic retreat. This is the proportional to the distance between the target and Hailey. Your weak point damage increases. So when you are at 25 meters or more, which is pretty obvious because that'll be a point where your circle misses, that should be the max distance. So if you happen to miss your circle in a boss fight and you know you like actually hit the target, then you should also be far enough away to get this passive skill at its max boost. Your weak point damage will increase by 50%. So again, that does matter, stacking that on top of things like expand weapon charge to make sure you have the 2 extra shots. You can pump millions and millions of extra damage into a boss just by positioning. So yeah, all really good things to point out. So yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed this build today. Hopefully I was able to enlighten on a few things, you know, show some details that may have not been known or seen, or people just kind of pass over, right? Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all for hanging around. Be sure to leave a like and comment, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.